Okay. Hey guys, how's it going? This is Coach Sean with Hyperactive Monkey Fitness, and I'm here with 4 of the participants, including myself, in the Increase Your Speed in 60-Day program, or your 9-week speed program. This is the last day. We just completed our sprints. Let's just get to it. How do you guys feel?
I feel really good. I definitely noticed an increase with my energy over this 9 weeks program. I still feel like I feel really like in much better shape than I was before. Definitely attribute that to the program, considering I was doing nothing else but sitting on the desk the rest of my time here. It's been really good. I've noticed a change in my weight. I've lost about 5 pounds. And so that's definitely a good start. I know I'm moving on the right track now. I can work better on my nutrition. That's something that I've been focusing more on lately. And so that definitely a lot of the good lessons learned during this program that I can use to help myself later on, even if I don't keep running every other day. And definitely made me want to be more active beyond this program. I definitely have a plan in mind of what I want to do with my time during the weeks in terms of how I can better stay in shape. So yeah, overall it was a great success.
Sai?
So like Coach John and Samit mentioned, this is the very last day of our 9-week program. And as far as what I have seen in myself over the last 9 weeks, I see that I've had psychological and fitness kind of level benefits. So I'm going to talk about the psychological aspect first. So this is the very first time I've actually committed to a program 4 days in a week for 9 weeks at a stretch, and this has been more of a psychological barrier to overcome for me, because like work gets in your way. You have several things to do outside of your day-to-day life, and then you have to like make the time come here and just work out and be with everybody else and get the motivation. So that's something that I've really seen in myself. I never thought I could do this 9 weeks ago, but I think once you overcome the psychological that barrier, and you can push yourself and see how far you can go. So I think that's one thing I want to highlight in this. And the other thing is the physical aspect. I've definitely lost a few pounds. I think I've shaved about 2 to 2.5 seconds of the sprints from my initial time, so that's pretty good compared to what I was 9 weeks ago, where I was 9 weeks ago. And in terms of nutrition, I think that is something that I have to focus more on. I haven't been completely honest with myself, but hopefully this program has given me all the basics to improve my fitness wherever I am. Like no gymnasiums or no weights, and nothing is required from me. I can just run in a parking lot or anywhere else and just maintain my fitness level. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from this program for me. Thank you.
I obviously haven't been here for the last 6 weeks because I injured myself at the end of the first section of the program. I'm glad Sai talked about the mental aspect, because during the time I was here, I was really stoked about the program. I had lost something like 3 or 4 pounds, something like that. Started to see improvement in my time, and got really bummed out when I couldn't participate. I found myself wanting to be here and just didn't feel able. But the good thing is I was able to keep the weight off that I did lose. And I came back today and wasn't able to participate to the maximum level, but I said to the guys as we were doing some of the less strenuous stuff that it felt kind of like rehab, and I was feeling a lot better. I knew where my weaknesses were, what my limits were, but I felt like I was improving. And if we get a chance to do this program again, I'll definitely do it.
Awesome. And I'd like to touch on that. Everybody said some awesome pieces in regards to what the program is able to do. And that's something that I believe in, here at Hyperactive Monkey Fitness, and especially myself as a personal goal, that fitness should not be the end result. It should be what drives you into going towards whatever your goal is in life, whether it be something like a sport or a recreation activity, or even just to drive you into making some of your desires to come through, some of your passions that you've always wanted to do but never thought you'd be able to come to fruition. In my case with the sprinting, I actually was able to cut my weight down a bit. I mean, it was about like 10 plus pounds that I lost. It's kind of a variation because I was also competing at the time, but it did something for me because running is one of the things that I hated the most. So when I created this program, I thought it was just a real good baseline. And when I developed it in terms of efficiency for somebody that could not or did not have any physical background, to people who were deconditioned, and even tell people who had conditioning if they weren't really developed into sprint and into efficient, speedy movement. So I did a lot of research to pull the program in together. And for me, it really started to bridge out a lot of the physical aspects as well as the psychological aspects, because in the sports that I do and the things that I jump into, there's a lot of detail that goes along with learning the coordinated pieces that you don't really delve into, like the psychological aspects of it as often. And sprinting is such an efficient and it's such an easy sport and simple sport in certain ways, but it's also a very complicated sport in certain ways, that I was able to pick up a lot of the psychological cues and the psychological factors that I was able to transport into the rest of my training for the other stuff that I do. And not to mention, like in this last sprint, this last run when we were doing it, I found that I only shaved off about 9 seconds from my initial sprint in the 100 meters that we did in the change of the program in the third week when we did a switch around on how we were pushing it through. But what I did notice is that even though I only shaved 0.9 seconds off, I actually was able to control my sprint a lot better. And I wasn't tired afterwards as hard as I was when I was trying to drive through at the full 18-second mark. And I was able to gauge and shift gears in between the sprint, go faster and focus on technique without hurting myself or without burning myself out. And that was an achievement in itself, because as opposed to being fast, I had control now. And that's something that we all look for. So with that said, on top of what Nick was talking about at the very end, there will be a second phase of this program at some point. Right now, this was the first phase. I was hoping that it would be the only phase we needed, but after all the things that we compiled and the changes that we made, I think that sometime in the near future, maybe next month or so, we're going to do this again and see what the results hold. And then from there, we're going to build out an awesome program that everybody can use online without me or with my help if you need it. All right, guys, that's it from me. Anybody else have anything they want to say?
I have one thing to add. I just want to thank John very much for giving us all the opportunity to come out here and help us all out with everything that we needed, help us get on the right track and everything. So big thank you.
I want to thank you guys for being part of this program. Woo. All right, guys, have a great one. This is it. Bye.
Oh no, I'm gonna miss you guys so much.
That's all right, guys. No crying.